Hello humans, this is Random Guy and welcome to the Random Channel. Today I'm going to be giving my opinion on yet another anime. I decided to, change the name a little bit. It's called Anime Review and I'm like, review is a bit too, professional for my taste. These videos are not professional at all. They're just a clip of me talking about the anime I just recently watched. So it's basically my opinions. So I'm just gonna change the name of the show to Opinions regarding a certain anime, whatever we are watching. This time we have Nobunaga Sensei no Osanazuma. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly. I forgot the English name and I didn't even check it. Fuck it. It's a show that recently showed up. This type of shows have been showing up recently where they make these ecchi harem shows, but they are like very short duration ones. So these type of shows come out quite often in the past few years or so. But they're decent, all right. But some of them are really good. Like My Bride is the Student Council President. This one is something like that. I wasn't expecting too much from it because it looked a little bit historical, but it was actually fucking hilarious. So first of all, there's a decent amount of nudity in the show. Like this show does not, hold back in the least of it. Like if there are 12-year-old girls and 12-year-old girls are getting naked, all right, that's just what the show is like. There's no fucking holding bars, no nothing, making babies and whatnot. They talk about all sorts of shit. Typical harem show, right? But this is the same type of harem that you see every other place. It's just like all the way from lollies to a complete fucking MILF, that sort of thing. The main character is quite charming, to be honest, amazingly. He's a little bit fuck all at times. But for most part, whenever anything sexual happens, he doesn't just go like nosebleed and collapse like Ise Hyodo or like fucking just go like, oh no, this is impure, my Christian chastity, and just run away from there. None of that happens in this show. This show is like, you know what? I got titties in front of me. I'm gonna grab them. Simple as that. So that's the one thing that I like about the show. The show is about past figures, some historical individuals coming to life in the future where the main character lives. So some of the characters that come back from the past are actually just the soul of them, and sometimes they actually reincarnate in front of the main character. So they're like little girls, like 12, 14. So the show is kind of pedo. It's not pedo enough where it's illegal or nothing like that. But it's just enough pedo, all right? And I like it, just the way I like it. But some people are not gonna like it, so I'm just gonna put that out there that it's not a show for everyone. There's a moral dilemma for certain people. The humor in the show is amazing. Most shows just make you chuckle a little bit, but this show fucking made me laugh out loud. It's been such a fucking long time since I watched an anime and I actually laughed out loud. It's generally just chuckle or going like, oh wow, that was funny. The typical internet face that you make while typing lol in the comments. So just generally is like that. But this show, I actually laughed out loud. It was actually fucking amazing. It's a legal lolly talk about like how she's super old because she's reincarnated, so it's alright. Or all the vulgar talk about this and that penis and whatever whatnot. I mean, they even got traps in this show. Like there's a character that is a trap, and there are certain interesting events that happen around him. I'm not gonna say what, but certainly interesting. Let's just say that. The problem I have with this show is something along the lines of the episode are 7 to 8 minutes long, right? It's not like I typically enjoy 22 minutes long, episodes. But certain shows like these are really funny, and you just want to keep, watching in like one single flow. So it would be preferable for it to be a little bit longer, at least 15 minutes. 15 minutes is a good timestamp. 7, 8 minutes is way too short. You just run through all the 12 episodes real fucking quick. I'm gonna probably read the manga later on, but whatever. There's one thing that I have never seen in any anime, and that is something that I was amazed that is even possible in an anime. This is not a computer game that's being played on like a low-end computer, but for some fucking reason, in certain scenes, the frames are dropping. That's the most absurd thing I have seen in any anime. It rarely happens in the show, but there's like 2 or 3 scenes, I believe, where the frames drop for some fucking reason. Like the character is moving and there's like a frame drop happens for some reason. And I was like, what the fuck is this? They're not animated properly. As I said, it's not a PC game. It's not like I'm playing Metro Exodus on Windows XP or something that would fucking lag like that. But for whatever reason, the frames were dropping a little bit. The plot is very different, but at the same time, it's very typical. They just, it's one of those stories that a character is there, and then, you make things interesting with said character, then you introduce another character, make things interesting with that character, introduce another character. I generally don't like these type of shows. Like I am all for introducing new characters, but there's a time and place for those characters to enter. And if you make a show where the time and place for the characters to enter is not accurate, you can say like the character just keep coming, and it's like it becomes like a telltale game. But there's one thing in this shit that absolutely fucking amazes me. Like Monster Musume did the same thing, but that was actually really interesting. They did this like 1-2 episodes, one girl, and then immediately they bring in another one, then another character, then another character, then 10 more characters. That show brought in a shit ton of characters, but they made sure that each and every single one of them is unique, interesting in its own way. But in this show they do the same thing, but it's not as interesting as that one. Monster Musume, you cannot even compare both of them, considering like Monster Musume makes it so different. This one is just like, oh, a new character showed up with a bit of different personality, and they love the main character already. Something along the lines. Generally that's what they go for, and that's something that I was like, that's a bit much. Another thing that I really dislike about the main character is that he doesn't have, he's a pervert, right? So it's completely fine with the sexual situations and him being completely open about them. But there's a major issue with him that he doesn't seem to have much of a backbone. Like if he does something right and it's not perfect, and someone scolds him for it, and then someone calls him out for it, like, oh, you're shit, you're not doing this correctly. Like accepting one's mistake is alright, but taking unnecessary, scoldings and just accepting whatnot, he doesn't seem to have much of a backbone. Like self-respect is very low on the main character for some fucking reason. It's just he just behaves like a bitch sometimes. You just give whatever you want to give, and he just takes it for whatever reason. He just doesn't want to retaliate, and that's something that a little bit that I find that the main character is a bit too timid for my tastes. Apparently I couldn't find the manga or the doujin as it's written here, so I will just have to wait for the next season. Apparently I think there are 2 chapters out in the manga. Yeah, I saw it yesterday. I think there are 2 chapters out in the manga, which makes no sense. It probably was made from light novel or something. I didn't check, but it's probably from the light novel. Highly unlikely another season will come. It's a good show, mind you. It's not because it's not a good show that they won't make another season. These types of shows generally don't get another season, despite how good the fucking show might be. Like the one that I just mentioned, My Bride is a Student Council President. That fucking show was fucking amazing. It was like 2 seasons came out, and after that there's no more seasons, and I don't think there will be any more seasons. But I read the manga, and the manga is over now. I completed the manga. The ending was decent. I'm not gonna say it was good, too good or too bad or anything. It was decent. So yeah, let's just keep that at the side. I'm just gonna end up talking about a completely different anime. So yeah, I'm gonna give this 8.5 out of 10 in this ecchi harem category, and I would even throw in the adult category in this one, considering how vulgar this is. So everything about this show is perfect. Of the things that needs to be changed is that the plot, the way the plot is presented. The plot is alright, but the way it's presented is something needs to be changed. Along with the characters need to be more refined, because if you keep introducing new characters, if you're using the technique of introducing new characters, you need to make the characters more interesting, more appealing, and that sort of thing I think is lacking somewhat. And other than that, the main character is a bit too much of a bitch, and that's another thing that kills the mood for me. But other than that, I think the show is pretty decent overall. So as I said, 8.5 out of 10. It's a decent rating. There's a link in the description to my Twitter and my DTube account where I play hentai games. Go follow me there and check the games out. I haven't been uploading for a while, but I'll get to it eventually. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and bye bye.